Hi again, my name is Senga Lindsay. I'm a landscape architect from Vancouver, British Columbia, and we're here down under in New Zealand. And today we're going to talk a little bit about kitchen garden design. And kitchen gardens were very common in, again, the 17th, 18th century English. And it is, as you will come to see, a style all upon itself. So let's look at some of the functions as well as the design of how a kitchen garden works. Now, while this is a demonstration garden, the principles are, again, the planter beds were very formal, they were very utilitarian, boxed off in a series of squares, and then different things like companion planting were integrated with, say, peas and these violets. And companion planting was often used because one plant would repel insects that using bad scents or smells or chemicals that it would release from its roots, thus protecting the edible plants themselves. The other technique that was used, because this is a high intensive garden situation, is they do crop rotating. So heavy feeders would be rotated with nitrogen fixing plants that would then bring nutrients back into the soil. So very simple design of and a very utilitarian type of garden. And the three principles are the square, very efficient raised beds, the utilitarian walkways, very geometric, and the walled gardens. And we're going to take a couple look at some of the crops that are currently growing here. And this one you might all recognize. This is the artichoke. And as you can see, it's quite far along. It is a cool weather crop, hence the reason it's so advanced this early in the New Zealand weather. Funnily enough, they have lavender here, and as I've indicated before, lavender is great for making teas, sachets, great for aromatherapy. And then this big shrub here, which we probably will never see in Vancouver, is rosemary, which has great culinary uses. Other crops that are coming fast and furious right now are the zucchinis. And you can see they've already taken off quite well. These are the flowers, which in themselves can be used, they're edible. And this is a flower that's already been fertilized, and there's the beginning of the zucchini. Down here they actually call them marrows. Other crops that are starting to take off are your string beans, and here's a great example of companion planting using the marigolds. And marigolds are very good at keeping things like nematodes away. So there's an example of your vegetables with your companion planting. And something great about these quick growing lettuces is that you can time them, because usually lettuces take about 30 to 45 days to mature. So when you are planting beds of lettuces, a tip is to do what they call succession planting. Don't plant your rows all at once. Rotate them out. So as soon as one little row is ready to go, harvest it, reseed it, and you've already had another further section already seeded and halfway to maturing. That's called succession planting, and that's part of growing vegetables intensively in a kitchen garden. As you can see, kitchen garden was composed of raised planter beds, as indicated here, and they were also encapsulated by a wall. The whole garden was walled in. As in like a herb garden, a wall garden creates a bit of a microclimate, protecting the plants from wind and predators. And in this case, the kitchen garden walls were very instrumental in producing espaliate apples, which you can see along this back wall. And what happened here is that the light would reflect heat from the wall back onto the plants, and that was very beneficial because it allowed the fruits to ripen up a lot quicker. And in fact, it's been found that the plants that are found along these walls grow at a rate that would normally be found approximately 7 degrees south on the latitude line. So this is an important reason why walled gardens were very important, or walled walls were very important to put in. some espalier grapes on the backs of the walls. So it's not just fruits that can, traditional fruits and apples that can be used. You can also espalier grapes. And then in the foreground is, mounted on these hillsides, are your typical pumpkin or squashes. They need a lot of room to grow, spread, and expand, and they are somewhat heavy feeders. So if you've got the room, great. If not, a little tip, you can find miniature versions now of pumpkins and squashes that literally will grow within 60 centimeters of space. Again, my name is Senga Lindsay. Thanks for joining me. If you want any more information on garden design, types, styles, and tips, come visit my website at www.sengadesigns.com.